to VNN. I'm AJ.
And I'm Amy.
And this is Viking News Network. Kamala Harris has created a Fortnite map in order to connect with the younger male audience. This map is known as Freedom Time USA and focuses on Kamala Harris's policies by letting players find out about them on an open map. There are various amount of different gameplay styles with a huge amount of references to her policies that assist the average person in starting small businesses or construction or other such things. Some consider it to be comedic, but others say that it's a good way to connect with a younger audience.
A Fortnite map for a presidential campaign. I can't say I've seen that before. Let's go on to a package that talks more about each of the candidates.
Let's talk about the Democrat and Republican candidates for president so that you can stay informed. The Republican candidates for president and vice president are Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, and the Democratic candidates for president and vice president are Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Starting with Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, we'll start with the basics and move up. They want to seal the border to prevent immigration, carry out the largest deportation in America's history, which is supposed to stop a migrant crime epidemic, as well as drug cartels, gang violence, and other such issues. He also wants to run the economy as a large issue, and wishes to ensure that he stops inflation and assists the average person. He wants to defend the rights granted by the Constitution, such as freedom of speech and the right to bear arms. Moving on to Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Kamala Harris has stated multiple times that she wants to build up the economy by using the government to decrease costs that cause problems. They also want to help with people gaining access to healthcare, which is commonly a hot topic. Education is also a big issue for them, as they want to ensure everyone has an equal opportunity. This was a brief summary of the topics they are running, but you can look at their websites to find out more.
With the elections coming up in many sources have put up early predictions for the election results. While these predictions are far from concrete, they can still be useful in finding trends. Based on NBC News' presidential election preview for the 2024 election, the Electoral College votes are predicted by NBC to swing slightly in the Democratic Party's favor, with 226 votes predicted to go towards Kamala from states that at least lean Democratic, whereas 219 votes are predicted for Trump. However, these predictions leave 93 votes up in the air. And considering that a candidate needs at least 270 Electoral College votes to win the presidency, final results are still unclear. Some of the battleground states, such as Arizona and Georgia, who usually voted for the Republican Party over the last 32 years, were both won by Biden in the 2022 presidential election. Whether this recent change will continue or not is anyone's guess. Interestingly, the Fox News presidential power rankings place Kamala with 226 votes again, but attribute 230 votes to Trump, compared to the 219 from NBC. It seems that the main difference between the two predictions is that on the NBC map, Arizona is labeled as a toss-up, whilst in the Fox News map, Arizona is shown as leaning towards Trump. Fox News also places one vote from Nebraska towards Kamala, while giving an extra vote in Maine to Trump. These differences may be due to political leaning of the two organizations. On the All Sides Media Bias chart, Fox News is listed as solidly right-leaning, while NBC is listed as leaning left. I decided to see what an organization that was center-leaning on the chart had for a prediction, so I chose to look at Reuters. The prediction places 216 votes towards Kamala and 219 votes towards Trump, leaving 103 votes as a toss-up, more than either of the others. The difference between Reuters and NBC is that Minnesota is placed as a toss-up on the Reuters map and as leaning left on the NBC map. It seems that the different sources disagree with one another on election predictions, and all leave many votes up in the air. So maybe the best way to know the election results is to wait until November 5th when the results are certain.
The election this year seems like it's going to be crazy, but
Indeed.
Perhaps we should look more at the Senate.
The current Massachusetts Senator candidates are Elizabeth Warren and John Deaton. Both of them have opinions on issues such as taxes, poverty, and green power. Elizabeth Warren plans to impose an ultra-millionaire tax on fortunes worth over $50 million, enough to pay for universal childcare, student debt relief, and a down payment on a Green New Deal. She addresses the nation's housing crisis by building more than 3 million new homes, cutting rents nationwide by 10%, and taking steps towards healing housing discrimination. She also gives workers a greater say in the decision-making process at the big corporations, empowering them to elect 40% of the board at the company where they work. And lastly, she wants every public company to inform the public on climate-related risks. John Deaton proposes to invest in infrastructure, education, and social services, and wants to fight more for the people than against the wealthy. He says he wants to reform the accredited investor rule, which means 90% of the population cannot own private equity like members of Congress. He feels spending in DC has grown to crisis levels, and we are not spending enough money on issues in poor to middle-class communities. He also pushes for renewable energy and fossil fuel independence, but still wants renewable growth to be reasonable, as in not causing a detriment to economic well-being.
You know, the Senate can control a lot of things, but they can't control sports.
Now let's look at the sports with Jamie. We will see if things are as crazy as this year's elections.
Hello, everyone. On today's news, the Boston Bruins lost to the California Hurricanes Thursday night with a final score of 2-8, scoring and goals for the Brains, while Brad Merchant and Hampus Lincoln both assisted. David hit past Mac. The Bruins face off against the Philadelphia Flyers at 1 p.m. on Saturday, November 2nd. The Boston Celtics lost the game to the Indiana Pacers on Wednesday night, 132-135. Top point cameras for the Celtics included Derek White with 23 points, Jaylen Brown with 25, and Jason Tatum with 37 points. The Celtics take on the Charlotte Hornets for Friday night at 7 p.m. and again on Saturday at 6 p.m. The New England Patriots beat out the New York Jets in a nail-hitter last Saturday with the score of 25-22. Patriots quarterback Drake May ran the ball for a touchdown in the first quarter before leaving the game with a concussion. Backup quarterback Jacob Brissett had completed 15 out of 23 passes for a total of 132 yards. Running back Randall Stevenson had 20 carries, running for 48 yards with 2 touchdowns. The Patriots play against the Tennessee Titans for this Sunday at 1 p.m. Now, on Nashoba news, the Nashoba Tech girls varsity soccer team beat out McCann Tech Thursday evening in the Vogue semifinal with a score of 4-0. Scoring goals for the Vikings were Anelia Smith, Lainey Callahan, and Destiny Soba with 2 goals. They traveled to Norfolk County Agricultural High School for the finals on Friday with a 3:30 p.m. start time. Go Vikings!
Whoa, that seems like a wild night for Nashoba Tech. It looks like that there will be more wild stuff in the future, if this news package tells us anything.
Like the ballot, for example. Let's move on to that.
Welcome everyone to my political report, and today I'm going to introduce you guys to ballot question number 2. But first, what's your opinion on the MCAS? Well, depending on the answer to ballot question number 2, it may have a huge impact on how the MCAS is handled in schools of Massachusetts. For one, if this law was passed, the proposed law would eliminate students' requirement to pass the MCAS test in order to achieve a high school diploma and pass the grade. Instead, the proposed law would only require students to complete coursework that is/was certified by whatever student's district by demonstrating mastery in the state's academic standards, including but not limited to math, English, science, as well as those included by the Board of Elementary. Now, time to go on with what would happen depending on if the vote is passed or rejected. Now, if the proposed law were to be accepted with a yes vote, it would eliminate the requirement to pass the MCAS to graduate high school. However, it would still require students to complete coursework that meets the standards of the state of Massachusetts. However, if a no vote were to happen, nothing would happen, as it would make literally no change to the laws or to the law requiring the completion of the MCAS to graduate high school.
Election ballot question 3 involves whether or not rideshare drivers should form a union. Companies like Uber and Lyft will be affected. Drivers right now are independent contractors. Rideshare drivers right now are not considered employees. A yes vote on question 3 would create a new system to help unionize drivers at companies like Uber and Lyft. They want to do this so that they can improve the welfare of the drivers. The drivers only suffer poor pay, no health care insurance, and no regular hours. Question 3 would likely increase the cost of rides and reduce the people using rideshare. If they vote yes, unions are going to be detailed, and there will be a plan in place for the new law. It may not take effect right away.
If the tip minimum wage no longer exists, or a yes vote win, then all employees who work as waiters, bartenders, manicures, etc. would now be paid the full minimum wage of $15 per hour. They would no longer be paid $6.75 per hour, provided that tips make up the difference. If a no vote wins, the tip minimum wage continues to stay, which means that nothing changes. The pros of getting rid of tip minimum wage are an increase in wages for heavy tip relying jobs. The workers would also receive less harassment for customers that wouldn't have to put up with everything the customers throw at them for more tips. The pay between the tips could be split among all the workers, even the ones in the back of the house workers who can't earn tips. The business would most likely look for more ways of income, such as service fees, which could increase the income for all workers, not just the front of the house workers. On the other hand, the cons of getting rid of tip minimum wage would be higher prices, since the workers aren't making an as reliable amount of money through tips. They would have to increase their prices, which might drive customers away. The businesses would be at risk of closing down due to lower profits from the increase of prices. The business would also have to reduce the amount of workers they hire if they want the money not to be spread too thin.
For a little Nashoba Tech News recap, a few events are coming up. There are amazing and cool events such as the MEFA Financing Seminar on November 12th. Not that interesting? Fair enough. Well, maybe you'll be more excited for the 2024 Homecoming Dance. It's on November 22nd, and the theme is boots, chaps, and cowboy hats. If you act quickly, the tickets are $10 each for the first 100 sold. Then they will go up to $15 in advance and $30 at the door. We also have a Homecoming Spirit Week, the themes of which are listed here. I'm excited for the Throwback Thursday, personally. There's lots of opportunity to be very creative with that. Another event very soon is the annual Craft and Bake Fair, which, if you've never attended, is always a fun shopping experience and a great way to get some early Christmas gifts. There are a few things further out, that being the Worcester Railers Trades and Tech Night and the Outdoors Club's ski program, so sign up for those if you're interested. Yeah, I can't wait for homecoming. That's gonna rule.
Honestly, I have to agree. But you know what was also good? Maybe even possibly better than homecoming? That costume contest. Let's look at that now.
I like your packaging this time.
I'm a big baby.
You're a big baby, that's true.
To be stealing Christmas now, aren't you?
He's trying to steal Halloween.
I mean, I guess they're already selling Christmas stuff, so.
Where's the tree?
This sure was a fun Halloween this year.
I have to agree. But now we have, and I hope that the next one is going to be just as great, just like Voices of Hope.
Voices of Hope is a nonprofit organization that raises funds for cancer research through the arts. We do 2 main shows a year, and we also have a golf tournament and a lot of other events that our members put on throughout the year.
We have people who are so passionate about ending cancer that they join our productions, or they want to donate to the many different events that we have going on, from our anthems to the golf tournament to our youth program. It is a mission that unites all people.
I love the people. Made a lot of great friends by being here and being involved with the group.
The community is loving, it's giving, it's supportive.
Anyone can join Voices of Hope. We are not a community theater, we are a nonprofit, and anyone who is there for our mission and who wants to help in the raising funds for cancer research is welcome to join. You don't have to be a singer, you can do anything in our organization and just come and have fun with us. April 13th and 14th, we're doing Hello Dolly at the North Shore Music Theater. And this fall, in the October, we'll be doing a fall cabaret called Broadway Pop and Rock, and we have some smaller shows throughout the summer, so just watch our website.
It's a wonderful cause. Anytime you can help people, especially with a disease that has touched so many.
And now with another school-related story, the dodgeball tournament is in fact soon, November 17th. That's right, Wednesday, November 17th is the day to sign up, so you'll need to sign up soon. To sign up, meet Mr. Kazupi in the gym or Miss Bendel in the Viking Hall. There will be a girls' bracket for those who desire it. The preliminary rounds are from 8 to 9:30, and the championship rounds are from 10 to 12. While it may be very fun, it does also require $5 per person who is spectating or playing, so no matter if you want to watch or want to play, you gotta pay. And now, back to Jamie with this week's weather report.
Hey, I'm Jamie, coming to you with our weather report. The current temperature is 73 right now. Today will be mostly cloudy, then clearing later in the day. Highs in the upper 70s with west winds being around 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts up to 30 miles per hour. Tonight will be mostly clear, much clearer with lows in the lower 40s. Winds will be 5 to 10 miles per hour from the northeast with gusts up to 25. Looking at the 5-day forecast, the weekend will be mostly sunny with Saturday's high at 51 and the low at 34. Sunday's high will be 49 and the low at 34. Next week will be mostly cloudy through Wednesday. Monday's high at 48 and the low at 45. Tuesday and Wednesday will be much warmer with highs at 68 and 71 respectively, and the lows at 60 and 53.
Thank you, Jamie. Well, just like Halloween season, that's all we have time for today. I'm AJ.
And I'm Amy.
And this was Viking News Network. And now we're going to leave you with this.
The typical week at school here is you're either in shop or you're in academics. If you're in shop, you're learning about your trade, you're learning everything that you need to know so you're prepared to go out in the field. And then on the other week, you're learning the academics, you're taking a math, a science, an English, or an elective. So you're getting a little bit of both at a technical high school.
The teachers of this school are going to give us the skills we need for the future.
As a teacher, I love seeing students go into vocational education because they really do have that leg up on other students from other traditional public high schools.
There's so many ways to get involved with the school because there's just an endless amount of options for different things you can do after school to become more engaged with your peers and other people in the community.
I became a mentor because I want to help incoming freshmen and get them in the sports and clubs.
The Cultures and Communities Club is for people to talk about their different cultures.
Students here can either go off to college, they can go work in the trade that they were studying, they can even learn something completely new.
I see for my future probably working as a freelance graphic designer and also being an online artist.
I'd rather be working and learning something I'm passionate about, and there's so many different paths I could go down.